Okay, things not to do in franchising. Don't gouge the franchisee. Don't add on every single potential expense that you possibly can to the franchisee. Two examples that are US-based companies, Quiznos and Krispy Kreme. What they were notorious for was taking that franchise fee. Again, not the right direction. They should have been thinking about the royalty. They wanted big franchise fees, and they pocketed the money, and they didn't give support to the franchisee. Hence, over a period of time, those franchisees filed for bankruptcy, went out of business, couldn't make it. You're trying to make money off that royalty stream coming in. If you can't make the money off the royalty stream coming in and growing it, you're not going to be successful for long as a franchisor. So don't gouge your franchisee. What they did, again, at Krispy Kreme and Quiznos, they had a large franchise fee to get in. They had a decent-sized royalty fee. But then they started buying products and selling it to the franchisee at a markup of 20–30%. They started requiring the franchisee to buy from their preferred vendors where they were getting a kickback. So there was a lot of different things that were taking place, but the franchisee was not getting successful. And hence, both those concepts filed for bankruptcy to reorganize and lost, Quiznos lost a third of their franchisees. That's a tremendous amount of revenue that you end up losing when they have to go bankrupt that way. So you have to think about more long-term strategy. How do I make most of my money from the royalty stream? How do I minimize what I'm going to charge the franchisee? Don't gouge them. Don't charge them too much. You can charge them extra if you're providing the product, if you're manufacturing the product to give to the franchisee to sell. But don't gouge them. Don't overprice yourself is my whole point. All right. Don't stay the same, but be competitive. Okay, you need to supply, you need to have development, you need to put some research and development. Let's say you're up and running now. Everything's going good, you're a franchisor. You need to keep putting new products out there, new ideas out there so the franchisee can be successful. If you're in business selling food, if you've ever noticed, with most restaurant companies, they don't sell just that one product over and over and over and over again. They're trying new things. They're trying different things. They're trying to be competitive with the market. That's what you need to do as well. I'll give you an example. When I was CFO for Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue, for whatever reason, the owner decided to get rid of the R&D department, save on cost. Okay, well, that didn't help them in the long run because we didn't have any new products for about 5 years. So over that period of time, they became very stale. What happened is those that were coming to our company no longer came to our company but went to competitors because they were coming up with new ideas. So the point behind this is you need to continue to develop research and development. You need to keep staying ahead of the curve. You need to keep trying new different things because if you don't, you'll become stale as a franchisor, and those that were franchisees of yours are going to be making less and less profit. So for instance, in Sonny's case that I was with, franchisees went from a $2.3 million average sales per their location down to 1.8 in just a few years. That's a lot less revenue coming through, a lot less money that you'll be making. And so at the end of the day, you want to keep thinking about how do I stay ahead of my competition. So even though you might become a franchisor, you've got to keep trying new things all the time. You've got to have the people and the dollars that's coming through in that royalty stream that you're going to budget out to keep trying new things. Don't forget, franchisees are creating your wealth. You need to keep providing them options. Again, as I said, R&D helps create different products, but you need to keep figuring out how to lower their cost. If you're building a restaurant or a spa or whatever it might be, you keep figuring out how to keep bringing down costs. That's your job as the franchisor. Yes, it's set up and they're going to follow your system, but your job is now shifting from I'm making corporate profits to how do I make the franchisee successful. That might be helping them find funding in different countries, might be able to help them with different legal issues that might be in their country. There's a lot of things as a franchisor, you just changed your hat, that you're now focused on that franchisee to be successful through so many different areas. And so that's the best way of doing it is you need to keep being able to provide options to make them successful. Again, I can't emphasize that more because at the end of the day, the more that they're successful, the franchisee is successful, the more your royalties will increase. So that's why you have to keep doing that. Not just to get them out there and get them to start selling your product or your trademark or your name or whatever. is at the end of the day, you're making them more successful, which is really making you much more successful. And I said this a little earlier, that if you were going to create a product or service that you wanted to franchise, don't go in with the mentality that this is a short-term event. If your idea is to go out, create a concept, and then sell it off real quick, don't do franchising. You have to go through so many hoops, so many different things to make this work, so many different trials and tribulations and failures to get yourself to a franchising point. But once you've got it, now you have a mechanism to go forward. You're really creating long-term growth, long-term wealth through franchising. As I showed you a little earlier, in franchising, it's created some of the best, most wealthy individuals in the world over time. It didn't happen overnight. So franchising, if you're thinking short term and you just want to do this quick, license this thing. Don't spend the extra time on franchising. Just give someone an opportunity, because franchising is the brand. You're controlling the brand. You're controlling your experience. You're controlling how it's done. It's a lot of time and effort that goes into it, but it's well worth it if you'll continue to focus on it for long term.